first take.
It's just a pound job, and guys are tired towards that 4 minutes.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
I would be lying to you if I said I had not heard things. They're like a bad rash. You hear a lot of things. Some are true, some aren't.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Oh, yeah. Week 8 of the National Football League. 15 minutes away from kicking off. The Minnesota Vikings, the LA Chargers. If you're a Jaguar fan, hope you're wearing your purple tonight. We'd love for Minnesota to put a loss on the Chargers. Anytime an NFC team is playing an AFC team, you would love for that NFC team to win it. Vikings-Chargers kicks off Week 8 in the National Football League in less than 15 minutes. And with that, a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, and 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Thursday night that finds us, well, with an NBA big controversy. Boy, what a day in the association. Such a great night last night with basically every team getting their season underway. And then the bombshell earlier this morning, the gambling arrests by the FBI. Terry Rozier of the Miami Heat, Chauncey Billups, the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Damon Jones, who played many years in the league, including with Miami and other organizations. Just really, really awful stuff as far as gambling goes. A lot of hypocritical stuff today, too. We know how important gambling is in the world of sports. I thought nothing was more ironic than ESPN doing a deep dive on this gambling story as the ESPN bet was scrolling on the bottom line, and they tried to subtly take that off as Greenberg is in the middle of his narrative on the topic. So we'll certainly get into that. I mean, look, if it's alleged, right, guilty or innocent until proven guilty in this country, not that that's always the way it works in the court of public opinion, but you are innocent until proven guilty, or at least you are supposed to be, if these allegations are true. Terry Rozier will never play again in the NBA. Chauncey Billups will never coach again. Their careers are over, and they're probably going to go to prison. So wild stuff. But again, we will let the legal process play itself out. But no doubt it was a black eye today for the National Basketball Association. We will get into the Jaguars tonight. Boy, did you see the thing that the Jaguars social media team released earlier today? It's an 11-minute video of the post-game locker room in London. Yeah, the 35-7 loss the Jaguars suffered at the Rams. Jaguars.com took you inside the locker room of a 28-point defeat and let you hear from Liam Cohen, and then they took you inside the team meeting room on Tuesday. Look, say what you will in the past about the Jaguars and how bad they've done things here, because goodness knows I have. This access that we're getting from The Hunt and on Jaguar social media and Jaguars.com, holy moly, it is incredible. Incredible access that Liam Cohen and Tony Baselli and James Gladstone and Shad Khan and that organization is letting us into. No other team in any professional sport is doing this. None. The Jaguars are the groundbreakers in things like this. Absolutely incredible access. And we'll certainly talk about that. We will talk about the Jaguars as well with a former Jaguar wide receiver, Cecil Shorts. He joins us in less than 15 minutes. We're here with you till 10 o'clock. As always, Jacksonville, we are glad you are deciding to spend part of your Thursday evening with us. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
on Hacker After Dark.
The rare weekend, and I haven't thought about how many times this has happened. Probably hasn't happened very often in our area. The Gators, the Seminoles, the Bulldogs, and the Jaguars are all off this weekend. Every one of them, all four are on a bye. Boy, if you have any honeydews to do around the house, right? Maybe this is the weekend to do them. If you need to get a little family getaway like I might be doing, this is the weekend to do it, because crazy how all four of our local teams are on a bye week this week. So quickly, they're basically at the halfway point. I understand Florida, Florida State, Georgia are a little over halfway. The Jaguars are a little under halfway. But by and large, you would assess this bye week as basically the halfway point for the four local teams that we cover the most. Georgia, 6-1. Could have been a lot better, right? The loss to Alabama at home stings. Could have been a lot worse. You could argue they could have lost to Tennessee. They could have lost to Auburn. No question about that. Could have lost to Ole Miss. But they have found ways outside of the Alabama game to get to where they are at 6-1 in the top 10 in the country, certainly controlling their own destiny for a college football playoff. Florida State, 7 games in, well, it's a disaster, right? You've beat Alabama and you scrimmaged 2 teams in East Texas A&M and Kent State, and now you've lost 4 games in a row. You lost to Virginia, good team. You lost to Miami, good team. You lost to a true freshman making his second career start at quarterback, first career start on the road when Pitt came into Doak Campbell and beat you. That's a terrible loss. And you go out to Stanford in front of a stadium that was 75% empty because they don't care about that team out there right now, and you were a 17.5-point favorite, and Stanford got you last week. Another terrible loss. Mike Norvell has had the dreaded vote of confidence from athletic director Michael Alford. Florida State fans are fuming about that. You've lost 4 in a row. You've lost 11 out of your last 12 conference games, and you have lost 14 out of your last 19 games overall, with 3 of those 5 wins coming against Charleston Southern, East Texas A&M, and Kent State. It is a disaster in Tallahassee. Not to be outdone are the Florida Gators, who are in the midst of a disaster of their own at 3-4. Same exact record as Florida State. They have already fired Billy Napier. We got the cocktail party next week here in Jacksonville, the final cocktail party here in Jacksonville until 2028. Remember, with the Stadium of the Future getting under construction, in 2026 it goes to Atlanta, 2027 goes to Tampa, and 2028 it'll come back. So this will be the last time for 36 months that we will have the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. And from a Florida perspective, you're going to go down there and you're going to tailgate and you're going to indulge in the beverage and tasty food and have a wonderful time in RV City. Do you care one iota about the game? Are any of these last 5 games of relevance to you? Or is it all about who is going to be the next head coach at the University of Florida? I would tend to believe it is the latter in that. So again, the Gators, even though they have 5 games left, I'm not sure how many Gator fans necessarily care about these next 5 games. The question there is, will Lane Kiffin be the next coach at the University of Florida? And then finally, the Jaguars going into their bye at 4-3. As I've said all week, if you would have told me that back on Labor Day, Hacker, they're going to be 4-3 after 7 weeks. With that schedule, I would have taken that. If you would not have told me how it went down, but when I knew they had Houston, San Francisco, Seattle, the Rams, Kansas City, Cincinnati, and if you would have told me 4-3 in the first 7, I would have taken it. So from that standpoint, I can't be upset where Jacksonville is. No question that the first 7 games on paper appear to be considerably tougher than the final 10. You got 2 games against the Titans. You got a game against the Cardinals, a game against the winless Jets, and your next game against the 1-win, or I guess 2-win rather, Las Vegas Raiders. So, from that standpoint, I like where Jacksonville is. I absolutely hate how they played at Wembley Stadium on Sunday. Even if you would have lost that game 24-13 and were competitive, I would still feel a lot better about that 4-3 than I do about this 4-3 coming off a 35-7 absolute beatdown at the hands of the Los Angeles Rams. Having said that, that's the Jaguars' reality. They are 4-3 on a 2-game losing streak, and I think a week from Sunday, 10 days from today, out in Las Vegas, Nevada, against the Las Vegas Raiders, is a gigantic game. If you win that game, you get to 5-3, you steady the ship a little bit, you get another road victory, and you calm the waters. If you lose to a bad Vegas team, you drop to 4-4, you're back to 500, and at that point, potentially the wheels might start to fall off. We'll certainly talk more about that game next week. We'll all take a deep breath during this bye, but Jaguars-Raiders a week from Sunday, gigantic game for the Jaguars coming off this much-needed bye week. Let's look back on the Jaguar loss to LA. Let's look at the first 7 games, and let's take a deep dive on both Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. What is wrong with Brian Thomas Jr.? What is going right for Travis Hunter? And let's do that with a man that played 7 years as a wide receiver in the National Football League, former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. He joins me every week. Jaguar fans, stay tuned. I think you're going to find what Cecil Shorts has to say about Brian Thomas Jr. Again, Cecil played 7 years as a wide receiver. He's a pretty good authority on what exactly is going on in BTJ's mind, and maybe more importantly, how you get him out of this funk that he's in. I think you'll find Cecil's comments very, very interesting. Denmark, before we get to Cecil Shorts, it's my understanding that we from time to time have things to give away to the good, hardworking men and women of Northeast Florida. And at 8:13 Eastern Standard Time on Thursday night, October the 23rd, now seems like as good a time as ever to give something back to the 1010XL Nation. What do we have this evening?
Got our family 4-pack of tickets to the Florida Forum Speaker Series featuring Caitlin Clark on October 29th. Hit me up at 641-1010. You get those tickets.
Oh, that's my birthday next week, October the 29th. If you want to go to the Florida Forum to see Caitlin Clark, among others, simply be caller 4 right now at 641-1010, and Dylan Denmark will hook you up with those tickets for next Wednesday, October the 29th. Cecil Shorts, former Jaguar wide receiver, joins me next right here. It's Hacker After Dark.
He's entered. Open the door to the Jags locker room to bring you exclusive insights and interviews on 1010XL.
This just in.
In the locker room with Hayes Carlion. Unlocked by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jax for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASE certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 23rd, 2000, the New York Jets put together an improbable comeback with 4 touchdowns and a field goal in the fourth quarter, which was dubbed the Monday Night Miracle.
Hi, I'm Amber Frangie. You know that other Frangie? Well, he's my dad. But I'm here to tell you about how much I appreciate the Awaken 180 weight loss program and how it's changed my life. Like a lot of folks, I let myself go a little. Not proud of that, but it happens. And I wasn't sure what to do. I've tried a lot of other weight loss programs, but they just didn't work. Not like Awaken 180. Can you believe I've lost 70 pounds in less than 4 months? With Awaken 180, there's no medication, no shots, and no side effects. And best of all, really fast results. You eat the food that's provided, and it's really good food. You work with a coach on a regular basis who guides you through the whole process. I'm never hungry. In fact, I never feel like I'm sacrificing anything. Just living a totally normal life. That's my new normal. And now, in October, they're offering free consultations. So there's no reason not to call them and learn more. Call them at 844-346-1800, or you can visit awaken180.com. It really has changed my life, and I bet it'll change yours too. That's Awaken 180.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Jacksonville is my hometown and nobody knows roofing like me. I'm Ronnie, the owner of Brandon Roofing. We handle everything from repairs to full roof replacements, start to finish. We give honest quotes, use quality materials, and clean up like we were never there. We all look at Google reviews, so go ahead and check out ours. We're proud of all our 5-star ratings. I would say we treat you like family, but some people don't like theirs. Go to brandonroofing.com today to schedule your free roof quote.
License number CCC 1328006.
Landscapers, St. Augustine Grass homeowners, listen up. Tired of dealing with the brown and thinning lawn? TopDressing.com is now in Jax. Give them a call. Let them be your St. Augustine solution. Quick, professional, white glove service for your lawn. Listen, they treated my lawn and I couldn't be happier. Green, lush, smooth grass, just like I wanted. They're the best in the business. There's no better time than now. If you're ready for a change, give them a call, 888-850-1850, and top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to american-electrical.com and see how they can help you.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars 4-3 heading into their bye week, coming off, well, just a horrific performance over in London where they lost to the Rams 35-7. They are over 500 at 4-3, but where is this football team heading into the bye as they begin to prepare for the second half of the 2025 season? Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Cecil, how we doing, man?
I'm good, brother. How about you?
Cecil, we're good. Thank you, as always, for the time. All right, you and I haven't spoke since the Rams game. That was bad, Cecil. And don't harm the messenger, but it was funny because a lot of people were saying, man, that kind of looked like the Gus Bradley Jaguars out there. Now, you were a part of the Gus Bradley Jaguars. Penalties, drops. I mean, it was rough last Sunday.
It was bad. It was not what I was expecting. A team that's used to playing over the pond, a team that is that I thought was ascending. I still think they are ascending, right? I still think they're on the right track. They just did not play well as a whole. They looked very overwhelmed, from the coaching staff to the players. They just did not play well as a team. So it was very disappointing to see too many drops on offense, too many opportunities, too many sacks, too many players running wide open. I mean, you don't have Puka Nacua out there, but then Devontae Adams is who he is, right? And he kind of tore some things up in that red zone area. So it was a frustrating game to watch for sure.
7 years for you as an NFL wide receiver, so you're the perfect person to ask. Why can this team not catch the football? What is going on there?
You know what? At first, I'm watching, and I'm thinking it's more of a one person type thing where this BTJ. It's all of them have turns dropping the ball, and BTJ in particular, I think he's completely lost confidence in himself, like completely. He is not playing like the number one guy I think everybody in Jacksonville thought he would be able to do, or thought he was, I should say. And it's been very disappointing. And I honestly think when it comes to catching, it's literally in his head. Last year, this was not an issue. LSU was not an issue. It was not a thing coming out of college. It probably wasn't a thing for him in high school. But for whatever reason, in his head, it is now. And he has some key, I think it was a key third down drop. The last 2 weeks, key third down drops that were right in his hands, catchable balls that he does not come down with. And I believe he had 2 drops last week, one on third down and one or another down that he has to come down with, especially if you're the number one guy. And it's very disappointing because he has all the talent and skill in the world. And we saw that last year. It's just this year, I don't know if he's feeling the pressure. I don't know if he's feeling the pressure of being the number one guy or trying to be the number one guy. I don't know if he's feeling the pressure of guys, defenses keying on him. But it's not like he's not getting open. It's not like he's not there. It's just he's not holding on to the ball. Now you add an injury to that, a possible wrist hand injury, which he has to use to catch the football. It's just not a good situation to be in. And I'm really watching that closely because if he continues to struggle, you're going to have to adjust your thought process on him and possibly who else could be step up in that number one receiver job.
Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Cecil, I'm always very leery, very careful of using the term soft to describe an NFL football player. I don't think anybody in the National Football League is soft, but that's kind of a narrative from some of the fans around here. And when you watch the film of Brian Thomas Jr., again, it doesn't look like he has a lot of interest going across the middle. I mean, that does appear to be at least problematic, does it not?
But very much so, very much so. And I think I would love to watch, and I'm just going off what I watch on TV, but I believe the film from last year and the film from this year, his route concepts are different, right? I think last year he was used more as a deep threat. He was used more deeper down the field. You didn't have to worry about some of the big time hits or whatever the case over the middle. And this year he's used differently, and not a bad thing at all. They trust him. Well, up to this point, they trust him, but you see the nervousness, you see the thought process, you see the hesitation that comes when he goes over the middle of the field. And, I think it's very hard to do that as a receiver or tight end or even a running back, right? When you know you're about to get hit or could get hit against some of the best players in the world. But at the same time, you're there for a reason. So I wouldn't use the term soft, but I understand where everybody's coming from because he has to go out there and make those plays and make those catches. Then there's a possibility, and this may sound crazy, but there's a possibility that you may get not clean off, right? You may get your head clean completely off, but there's something about that players and coaches and fans and media, they build a respect for you when you're able to make those tough catches over the middle and hang on to the ball when you know you could get hit or you might get hit, right? That's all. Again, I think that goes back to him mentally. Mentally, he may be weak right now, and he probably is weak because catching the ball is not hard for him. It's just a mental lapse right now that he's completely struggling with that I'm not sure he's going to be able to get through this season. I think it's the same thing for the kicker. Like 4 or 5, 50-yard kicks or kicks he should be making, PATs he should be making, but mentally they're just not in it right now for whatever the reason.
I mean, elaborate on that because you're not the biggest guy, but during your career, you went across the middle plenty and you took some shots, but you held on to the ball. I mean, what is the mindset of a wide receiver that knows you're gonna get hit in the middle of the field?
Honestly, for me, I just focused on the ball, and I knew it was coming, so I tried to brace myself. I would try to body catch it. I may jump, but I knew it was coming, but I knew I needed to catch the ball, right? And every single time I didn't catch it, but my effort was there. And I think for him, I think for some guys, it's just literally, I do not want to get hit. So I'm going to slow down. I'm going to have what they call alligator arms. I'm going to not give my absolute best effort because I'm trying to protect myself. Well, there's other ways you can protect yourself as well. But also, you got to understand you're playing this game, right? And him being a bigger body, a slender guy, he may just be flat out scared. Like, man, I'm not trying to take no hits. But it's just a mentality you got to have. Either you're going to do it or you're not, and you can't be doubting yourself in that play, in that moment. You got to go for the ball and make that play happen. And sometimes you can avoid the hit, sometimes you can't. But that's the game you play.
A couple of more for former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Cecil, if there was a silver lining last week, it was Travis Hunter, 8 grabs, over 100 yards and a touchdown. And the thought here is he going to be wide receiver 1 moving forward? And how I like that thought, and I agree he needs to get more targets. Liam Cohen's been very clear that right now Travis Hunter's basically only playing one of the wide receiver positions, as opposed to being, I think it's the Y, the Z, and the F is what they call it. He's basically just playing in the slot. You really can't be wide receiver 1 or the number 1 target if you're only playing one position, correct?
Well, you can, in my opinion, you can be the number 1 target if you're playing one position. Like if you're playing, like for example, say Brian Thomas is playing X and only playing the X. And I'm not sure how he runs his offense, right? If guys flip sides, if guys, because normally if a guy's the X, he's pretty much the X the whole time. There may be a situation where different personnel, he switches to the Z or switches to the F or switches to the Y, whatever the case may be, depending on personnel, who's in the game. But he can be the number 1 being one particular position. I think in this situation, though, it's no choice that he has to be the number 1 guy. Meaning target-wise, he needs to get the most targets. When the ball's in his hands, he makes plays. He makes people miss. He makes things special. The fans get excited. Heck, everybody gets excited when he touches the ball. So I don't care where he's at in the field, whether it's slot, whether it's outside, whatever the case may be. And I think he's more in the slot because I think that's where he's most comfortable at. And I think that's where he kind of fit the scheme they were trying to do with BTJ and Diami and everybody else. But when you're in this situation where you're projected number 1 is not living up to where he's supposed to be at, right? And then Travis is making the play that he is. He had 8 for 101 in the touchdown last week.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's your number 1 guy. So however you want to feed it, however you want to tell the media, however you want to feed or tell Travis, hey, we're going to keep you on the slot. We're going to keep you at the F. That's fine. Give him the targets he needs to make plays. And that has to be down the field. It can't just be screens. It can't just be short stuff. You can add that to it, but it has to be down the field targets because this kid can play, like flat out play. And he needs the ball in his hands for his offense and this team to succeed.
Final moments with Cecil Shorts. Cecil, I want to look big picture in a moment, but Trevor Lawrence has come under some criticism, obviously, for his performance as of late. Now, again, he's been sacked 14 times in the last 2 weeks. His receivers aren't doing him any favors either with the drops. But what's your overall assessment on Trevor Lawrence right now?
Honestly, I'm not down on him. No turnovers last week. Almost 50 attempts last week, and he was sacked 7 times. Like, it's pressure. I do think he's holding the ball a tad bit, but when you have so many drops consistently, that goes in the quarterback's head. Can I trust this guy? I got to give him the ball. But can I trust him, right? So he's holding the ball a tad bit at different times. I'm not out on Trevor yet. I'm not out. And I came into the year saying, hey, Trevor got to show me something to make me buy into it. This is the year, right? But I'm not out on him. I think he's done enough to keep his job. I think he's done enough to be the franchise guy just by him being consistent and then him getting help around him, meaning the drops, the sacks. You said 14 sacks in the last 2 weeks. No quarterback can overcome that. That's getting hit. That's not even counting the pressures, or that's not even counting him getting hit, right? That's just the sacks that they completed. So there's a lot on his plate. And I'm holding his feet to the fire. He needs to step up and play well, but I am not out on him. I think he's going to be okay. I just think the offense around him has to really make some adjustments in some areas of the offensive line or different receivers that should be the number 1 guy or get more targets to certain guys. Even Parker Washington, I think, needs to catch the ball better and get a few more targets as well. It's a whole offensive type of thing, right? Because you can't even run it. Last week, you can't even run the ball well. So for me, it's not just Trevor. I know he's the quarterback and it falls on him, But I say be a little bit more patient with Lawrence. He's going to be all right.
And it's, look, it's one thing to lose, but it's one thing to look sloppy in a loss as well. You give up 7 sacks, but maybe the more concerning thing, Cecil, they had 13 accepted penalties. They committed more. The Rams only accepted 13 of them for over 110 yards. I mean, at a certain point, you got to look at yourself in the mirror. The coaches can only tell you so many times, hey, don't block this guy in the back. Don't hold. Don't be illegally downfield. I mean, the coach, Liam Cohen's credit, he's saying, yeah, we got to coach him up better. We got to do better in that area. These guys are professionals, man. 13 penalties for over 100 yards is ridiculous.
No, I totally agree. Like, sloppy football will never help you win. And again, that's the whole team has to get better. Like, you have to improve on that. There's no reason to have that many penalties for that many yards. Like, you have more penalty yards than rushing yards. Like, you can't have that and expect to be successful in any type of on either side of the ball, right? So they have to clean that up moving forward for sure.
All right, so leave us with this. We take a deep breath because the last 2 weeks have sucked, to be honest. But 4-3, right? I think if you and I would have spoke, before the season, and if you would have said, all right, they're going to be 4-3 at the bye, I would have probably taken that. And they got the Raiders, the Cardinals, 2 against the Titans, the Jets coming up here towards the end of the year. I mean, it's all right in front of them. But having said that, if they don't play any better than they did against the Rams, they won't win another game this season.
No, I think, honestly, going back to what you first said, being 4-3 at the bye, that's a good situation to be in. You're second in the AFC South. You're in prime position if you continue to make the playoffs, if you continue to play decently well. You have a favorable schedule coming up. But now you have to regroup, reevaluate yourself, truly believe, okay, well, let's truly figure out what we can improve on offense, defense, special teams. Maybe bring in somebody for some tryouts, give Little some competition. But I think they'll be fine. I do think they'll be in the AFC hunt as far as making the playoffs, right? But you got to really clean up some things. But I think you're in a good situation sitting here at 4-3. It could be worse. It could be better, right? It could be better. But at 4-3, I think everybody should be happy right now.
Cecil, 60 seconds. So they panicking in Houston. They're 2-4. They got a 3-game homestand coming up, but it's the Niners, the Broncos, and the Jaguars. I mean, we're getting awfully close to must-win territory for Houston right now, are we not?
Yeah. The panic is here. The offense stinks. The offense is not good at all. Defense is playing at a high level, special teams playing at a high level, but the offense is garbage. I mean, complete trash. And they have to figure out a way to get out of there. So there is some panic there because you still – and the AFC South is like you mentioned, 4-3 Jaguars, 6-1 Colts. But there definitely is the panic button is hit for the offense here.
Former Texan and former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts. Cecil, thank you as always, pal. We'll be back next week. Jaguars get back on the field with a trip to Las Vegas, and we'll break it down next Thursday. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, sounds good, brother. Take care.
There you go. Former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts with us here every week on Hacker After Dark. And I thought it was interesting, Cecil being a 7-year NFL player at the wide receiver position. Cecil went across the middle a lot. Cecil took a lot of hits. And when I asked him, the kind of mindset you need to know you're going to get lit up and to hold on to the ball, I love the perspective that he gave. Because, Brian Thomas Jr. has not been able to do that this year. And to be a number 1 wide receiver, look, it's fun and all to catch a seam route or I guess a sideline route for a big first down. But if your team needs you on a 3rd and 13 across the middle for 15 and a first, you need to catch that. And Brian Thomas Jr., quite frankly, did not do a lot of that last year and hasn't done a lot of it this year, which is something that I think is concerning to a lot of people. Will he be able to adapt his game? We'll see. Obviously, the silver lining last week is what Travis Hunter did, having a 100-yard receiving day and a touchdown, certainly giving that young man some confidence heading in to the bye week. Week 8 of the National Football League is underway. Of course, the Jaguars are off, but 26 of the 32 are not. It begins tonight with the Vikings and the Chargers. They are scoreless, about 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, but the Chargers are driving. They have the ball inside the Viking 10-yard line. 2nd and goal for Herbert and L.A. Again, a scoreless game, 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. but the Chargers have a goal-to-go situation. We will keep you updated. Big news of the week here locally, the firing of Billy Napier in Gainesville. Of course, the Gators are off this weekend as well before they head here to Jacksonville for the 2025 edition of the world's largest outdoor cocktail party next week against the Dogs. Billy Gonzalez will be the interim head coach for the University of Florida. Let's talk to a former Gator All-American that played for both Steve Spurrier and Ron Zook. My buddy Ben Troop, former tight end at Florida. He was a great Florida Gator, went on to play many years in the National Football League as well. We'll talk about the Billy Napier dismissal. We will certainly spend some time on Lane Kiffin and what a former Gator All-American thinks about the direction Scott Strickland will go when trying to fill that Gator head coaching position. We're glad you're with us on a Thursday, Week 8 of the National Football League, and we have a score. Herbert and the Chargers are in. Touchdown, L.A. Herbert, a touchdown pass. I believe that was to maybe Gadsden, the tight end. That's what it looks like. So 7-0 L.A., 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. We will keep you updated. Former Gator All-American tight end Ben Troop joins me next right here. It's Hacker After Dark.
When you need plumbing, septic, or air conditioning service, trust matters. That's why more homeowners in Jacksonville choose Duck Duck Rooter, the area's most trusted service company. We're licensed, insured, and the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida. From small plumbing repairs to major renovations, septic tank pump outs, drain field installations, and full air conditioning service, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Hey folks, this is Denny Thompson, and when it comes to protecting my home, I turn to Tyson, the leaders in state-of-the-art home security right here in Jacksonville. Their AI cameras and smart doorbells are top-notch, keeping an eye on what matters most. Whether you're moving in or upgrading, Tyson offers flexible packages, rent or own, with specials on the first 3 years. Ramp up now for the holidays, the perfect gift for you or someone you love. Call Tyson today at 590-7979 for details.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Strap in, Duval. The Jaguars are gearing up to face the Los Angeles Chargers Sunday, November 16th for our annual Salute to Service game. Join us as we honor and celebrate the brave men and women of our military all game long. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Let's stand together, Duval.
Hey, David again here with Royal Pest Services. It's that time of year when rodents start making their way into our homes. Layson, tell them what they need to get in.
A quarter-size hole.
That's right. That's all they need. Hey, tell them where to go for a free attic and exterior inspection.
Visit RoyalPestServices.com.
You waited forever for your new fence. Then strangers show up. Subcontractors rushing the job. Sent by the company you trusted. Frustrating, right? Superior Fence and Rail promises better. Their professionally trained builders deliver quality you can trust. No subcontractors, no shortcuts. Just the superior craftsmanship your home deserves.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Why wait for a reason to send flowers? Celebrate life's little wins, or just celebrate you. Stop into the showroom on Beach and Southside, or online at JacksonvilleFlowerMarket.com. Jacksonville Flower Market. We make every day bloom.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Big news out of Gainesville yesterday. Billy Napier fired as the head coach of the University of Florida. Why did it not work out for Billy in Gainesville? And certainly the bigger question for Gator Nation, what is next as far as the next head coach down in Gainesville? Former Gator All-American tight end Ben Troop, certainly one of our guys here on 1010XL. We always appreciate his time, and Ben is always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Ben, how we doing, pal?
Ryan, I mean, always a pleasure being on with you. I mean, I want to say a sense of relief because I know he's finally out of here, but now the search for the next head coach of Florida begins.
Ben, why did it not work out for Billy Napier at Florida? What went wrong down there?
I think the easiest thing is inconsistency. You're not winning. I know 2024 is an outlier. Having the hardest schedule in 2024, you go 8-5. You're the reason why LSU, Ole Miss didn't make the college football playoff. All the teams you lost to either went to the college football playoff, played in the SEC championship game, or had a chance to beat. And then you bring that in 2025, you lose to USF. You didn't look like yourself against LSU, had a shot. Didn't look like yourself against Miami, had a shot. Texas A&M kind of got away in the fourth quarter. And Billy's inability to call plays, and he just never, ever, ever wanted to relinquish play calling ability. And the main thing to me, Ryan, is from what I get from down there, the local media, national media, he wasn't really transparent. And I know people say, well, is that a big thing? Yes, because your messaging is only going to come through if you're, talking with your local media about it. You're talking with national guys, letting people, because we never really got to know who Billy was, because I heard he's a great players coach, but as far as X's and O's, it just didn't happen. And like I said, the fact that he survived this long, I played under Ron Zook my last 2 years, who only lasted 3 years. The fact that they gave him 4 years, well, 3 years and 7 games is incredible to me, because at a place like Florida, 3 things gonna get you fired: losing, reputation, and I think the main one is perception. When the perception of what is going on is really, really close to the reality, they got to get rid of you.
Now, the interesting thing that the NCAA has done is the transfer portal for teams that fire their coach doesn't open until 5 days after a new coach is hired. So whoever gets hired will at least be able to have a sales pitch to the DJ Lagways and the Dallas Wilsons and the Vernell Browns, the Jaden Baws of the world. I mean, if those guys all stick around, the guy that's inheriting them would have a heck of a roster potentially in 2026. You obviously had 2 different coaches at Florida. You played for Spurrier, who left, and then you played for Zook. Understanding the portal back then isn't what it is now, but what is your thought about the young offensive talent with a new coach coming in? Do you expect guys to test waters elsewhere, or is there a potential that these guys could stick around in 2026?
It's so much uncertainty now, Ryan. I mean, it's hard always to put my finger on it, but I do think the new head coach, whoever they get, as long as he just has to introduce himself and have to do the sales pitch less, they're going to stay. Because the one thing that any coach has at his disposal It's the University of Florida. There aren't many resume boosters like this. There are other schools that are just as big, if not bigger, but they aren't many. And I think because the schools that they get, because you're most attractive when you first get recruited. And obviously certain guys like a DJ Lagway, like a Jaden Ball, like a Dallas Wilson, like a VB3, those guys, because of what they've done on the field, other teams are going to be looking at them. The new coach coming in, I think that's his first priority. Make sure he sits down with these players. And if I got 5 days, that's 5 days to sit down with each player individually. Make every one get a scope of, let me get the pulse of what these players are feeling, what they're going through. And number two, all right, man, what is it going to take? I mean, when I say what is it going to take, it's not always monetarily. What are you looking for? I do think, there's certain guys in mind as far as like on the coaching tree, but I think that the thing about the University of Florida is this. You don't have to sell that hard because it's Florida, but because of late, you have to sell a little harder because you haven't been winning. But the next head coach, they're going to have the University of Florida on their chest. They're going to have the University of Florida resources, boosters, attention, exposure. And hopefully he coming with a winning pedigree. If all those things can work in your favor and you losing big-time guys, it could be half the portal, half you. Only time will tell.
Former Gator All-American tight end Ben Troop with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Ben, you got your podcast. I see how active you are on social media. You certainly are very familiar with Gator Nation, and they want Lane Kiffin. At least an overwhelming majority of the fan base wants Lane Kiffin. I believe most of the boosters probably want Lane Kiffin. The question is, A, does the Board of Trustees and AD Scott Strickland, what do they think of Lane Kiffin? And B, does Lane Kiffin want the University of Florida? What is your thought on the whole Kiffin-Florida situation?
Well, I mean, the Board of Trustees, I think, are definitely on board. I think the boosters are definitely on board. Gator Nation is definitely on board. I don't think Scott Strickland got to be on board. He still got to make that call. He still got to interview him. Because the thing about it is, Scott Strickland is the same Scott Strickland that said, don't listen to reports last week about what you're hearing about him getting fired on Sunday. That's not true. He got fired on Sunday. It's the same Scott Strickland they said in 2024 had a meeting, in Gainesville with a bunch of boosters that said they wanted to get rid of Billy Napier in 2024 to go after Lane Kiffin. Scott Strickland said no, gave Billy Napier an extension, and you see what happened, after the Texas game. When you think about this Lane Kiffin, does he want Florida? Yep. Does he need Florida? Is the moment, and I will say yes. Here's why. Lane Kiffin head-to-head against Billy Napier lost. Lane Kiffin has never been to Atlanta. Lane Kiffin has never been to college football playoff. Lane Kiffin is a good coach, has the ability to be great. I don't think the greatness is going to come at Ole Miss for two reasons. You're not going to beat Alabama. You're not going to beat Georgia. And I don't think you're going to get the caliber of talent you need to get over the hump. A Lane Kiffin at Florida with unlimited resources, with his name credibility, winning pedigree, I think he gets all those things. And somebody told me, Lane Kiffin is no longer the young, hot coordinator. When Lane Kiffin was at his best, he was in his early 40s, late 30s. Lane Kiffin is going to be 50, 51 years old. He's no longer a young coach. And Coach Cignetti, obviously over there in Indiana, he's an outlier, being in his 60s, but he just got a contract extension. Lane Kiffin to Florida makes the most sense because, like I told you, ain't but so many teams can win the national championship. If Lane Kiffin is who he says he is, who he said growing up he wanted to be Coach Spurrier. Well, Coach Spurrier just happens to be down the hall. If you want that type of smoke, which I hope he does, I think he's going to be the guy.
Ben, you played for Spurrier. Obviously, Urban Meyer, uber successful at Florida as well. Those are the main two, quite frankly, and there's a gigantic gap after that. And you look at Spurrier and you look at Urban. Cocky, if not a little bit arrogant, showmanship a little bit. That's the kind of guys that win at Florida. And I would certainly put Lane Kiffin into that criteria. And outside of Spurrier and Urban, other coaches, McElwain, Mullen, Zook. I mean, if you want to go back even before Spurrier, there wasn't a ton of success. There is a type of guy that wins at Florida, and I think Lane Kiffin would follow in that set with the likes of Spurrier and Urban as far as a personality.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I got a chance to play with Lane Kiffin when I was with the Oakland Raiders. I mean, when his NFL 10, I was actually out there with him and Darren McFadden and Jamarcus Russell, and he was a little bit more timid then because that's a different type of world to be in. His time at Tennessee didn't end up the way he wanted to. He gets back, in the coaching. And you talk about his time at USC. You talk about being the offensive coordinator under Nick Saban. He goes down to FAU and what he's done at Ole Miss. To coach at Florida, you have to have some level of cockiness to you. You don't got to be conceited. You don't even got to be arrogant, but you got to be confident, because the smoke and the fire that you're about to witness, only Coach Spurrier, only Ron Zook, only McElwain, only Mullen, only Billy Napier, only Urban Meyer can tell you about. They asked Urban Meyer, man, you went to Ohio State, you went to Florida. Which one was the best for Florida? He said, I love Ohio State. There is nothing like Florida when you were winning. There's nothing like Florida when you win a national championship. If Lane Kiffin's legacy is what I hope he wants it to be, it's going to take a University of Florida to cement it. It's going to be a bunch of coaches win a bunch of games. If I knew that Billy Napier was going to get fired when James Franklin got let go. When a guy that has that many wins and came up and was in the college football playoff semifinals in 2024, and they let him go, yes, he lost to UCLA, and yes, he lost to Northwestern. I think for me, you want a coach like Lane Kiffin or a coach like James Franklin. The coach that comes to Florida, just like I know Ryan, they can't put his resume right. But you know how they do on SportsCenter? They tell him they put his resume. No, first name, last name. You should know. James Franklin, boom. Lane Kiffin, boom. And I know Marcus Freeman is a pipe dream. For those who keep saying Marcus Freeman, you got to have a lot to pull a coach away from Notre Dame. But I think Lane Kiffin is going to be the guy for a lot of reasons. But I think the biggest reason why he's going to come to Florida, because I think ultimately when Ron Zook coached me, he said, Florida was my dream job. I think Lane Kiffin's dream job is Florida. He ain't going to say that out loud because he got to win there, but I think ultimately he want to be in Gainesville.
Final moments with former Gator All-American tight end Ben Troop. Ben, quickly, because I want to end with a Jaguar thought from you. If it's not Lane Kiffin, and certainly that's the guy that most people want, but assuming it's not, we've heard Eli Drinkowitz, like you said, Marcus Freeman. There's some talk about Kenny Dillingham, Jeff Brom. I personally would want Brent Key, but I don't hear that name associated very much right now. If not Lane Kiffin, then who for the Gators?
I think for me, it's got to be an Eli Drinkowitz for a lot of reasons. I mean, you look at the fact that he came over from the Sun Belt just like Billy Napier. Only difference is he's been having tremendous success up there at Mizzou. Yes, I mean, his personality type might not be what you used to in Gainesville, but winning games is what he has been doing. Been very, very competitive. The reason why I say Eli Drinkowitz over maybe a Marcus Freeman, over maybe some of these other guys you mentioned is you got to have a certain tone and tenor about yourself to survive and thrive in the SEC. Everybody ain't built to coach in the SEC. Eli Drinkowitz, his first press conference, I want to say when he went to SEC Media Days, he forgot he was still talking about the Sun Belt, but he's been incredible. He's done at Mizzou what Lane Kiffin has done at Ole Miss, if not better than. So I just think that Eli Drinkowitz, while he's going to be, a very, very kind of like different type dude. He rolls to the beat of his own drum. Look at the results on Saturday. Florida, Scott Strickland, I know he got Coach Golden. They don't won a national championship already in basketball. This is going to be his biggest hire. This might be the last hire he might get a chance to do at Florida, depending on what's happening. But he's going to have to get it right. No longer can Florida get the guy who other people didn't want. You got to get the guy who everybody wanted, but you got him.
Ben, leave us with this. Let's shift to the NFL. Yesterday was embarrassing for the Jaguars in London. Crazy performance. It was penalties and drop passes. It was just nonsense. But I want to ask you particularly about Brian Thomas Jr. Now, you were an All-American in the Southeastern Conference. You were a second-round draft pick of the Tennessee Titans. You played a number of years in the National Football League. You're a perfect person to ask. Brian Thomas Jr. was a stud in his rookie year, no doubt. And he had all the expectations in the world coming in here for year number 2. And, Ben, it's been bad, man. I mean, drops. There's some people questioning his toughness. Again, I would be very careful using this term, but I'm going to use it because the fan base is using it. They're using the term soft when it comes to Brian Thomas Jr. Again, I would be careful because I don't think anybody's soft in the National Football League, but that's at least some of the fan base conversation. What do you make of the regression of BTJ, and how can he snap out of this?
Number one, I mean, I wouldn't use the word soft either, but I would use the word timid. I would use the word fragile, and I'm talking about his mindset. It happens. It's like when the pitcher can't pitch. I can't remember what they call it when he's on the mound. He can't throw strikes, or a shooter can't get. Brian Thomas gonna have to decide what he wants to be, because no one's gonna feel sorry for you because they know what you have the capability of doing. I would get Brian Thomas on the phone with Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, now it only happened in his rookie year as far like the preseason. He couldn't catch a cold. And then he got to the regular season, and obviously you see what he became. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to have to decide what he wants to be for himself, and he's going to have to be able to take tough love in that process. Having people saying it's going to be okay, having people stroking your ego, having people telling you it's all right. No, dude, it's not going to be all right because you are the guy. Travis Hunter finally went over. He had his best game offensively as a pro, and it didn't mean anything. He finally got his first touchdown. He's doing his thing, and that's the only offensive points y'all put up. Brian Thomas, you too good of a player. It's not like people can cover you. You coming wide open. You just dropping the football. It's gonna have to be important to him, or it won't be because I wanted. What was the young man y'all had out of Oklahoma State, Blackman? I remember when he was there, and he was, and his stuff wasn't on the field. It was off. You couldn't do nothing with him on the field. Brian Thomas Jr. is gonna have to look himself in the mirror and say, "Hey, man." You listen. You getting drafted in the NFL makes you a pro. How you play on Sunday makes you a professional. You got to want to be a professional at what you do because every time you drop it, the hopes and dreams of Jacksonville is gonna go with it. Because guess what? They can't throw the ball to Travis and everybody else, 20 times and not. They're gonna have to. You the number one, and a lot of pressure comes to being the number one. I hope he figures it out because I'm like you, Ryan. It's hard to watch because at a certain point, how many times can you say, "What are you doing?" in one game? 11 drops or 10 drops in the season is unheard of. I think he leads the league in drops right now. And if you don't want that label, say, hey, man, I'm the first guy to lead the league in drops and lead the league in catches. Do that because he's going to have to build confidence. And unfortunately for Brian Thomas, only he can do that.
Former Gator, All-American tight end, Ben Troop. Ben, I know you're busy. Thank you as always for the time, and we'll talk soon, pal.
Man, Ryan, anytime you need me, I'm there, man.
The lumber on the field.
No, I'm not a quarterback, but I like eating quarterbacks for breakfast.
Now he lays his opinions on Jaguars Today. Tom McManus. Fridays on 1010XL. Opened by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal, you look troubled. Is something bugging you?
This friendship isn't all upside for me, Jason. People keep asking me stuff about you.
They ask you about me?
Is it really cooler with Bueller, they ask? So I say, totally. And they say, how do you mean that? And I say, he fixes air conditioners, which literally makes somebody cool. But he also has cool sunglasses and cool people and a cool family.
And I try to make working at Bueller Air and Plumbing a really cool experience for our technicians and plumbers. We treat our people like gold, and they treat our homeowners the exact same way.
Great. Well, now there's another cool thing I've got to remember. This is a lot of responsibility, Jason.
Life can get hectic sometimes. If you don't take a moment to slow down and appreciate all the cool parts, you could miss it.
Do people ask you about me at all?
Weirdly, they do.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron, totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Early detection saves lives. This month, join Ackerman Cancer Center to go light blue and take action with prostate screening and their expert guidance. Book your screening consult and experience the Ackerman Advantage at AckermanCancerCenter.com.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for the Jaguars and proud member of Jacksonville's newest orthopedic dream team. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we brought together 10 board-certified fellowship-trained surgeons, each one a specialist in their field, all working together to deliver smarter, faster care with better results. From sports injuries to joint replacements, we've got the right player for every position. Visit osjax.com and meet your team. That's osjax.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
Northeast Florida Auto, Power Sports, and RV dealers. Tom McMahon is here for Dealer Connect. The nation's #1 AI conference for dealers is coming to Jacksonville October 29th and 30th at the Marriott Sawgrass in Ponte Vedra Beach. It's 2 days of tackling the future of AI in automotive with some of the industry's biggest names. Keynote speaker, Hall of Famer Joe Theismann will autograph items to benefit the Tom Coughlin J Fund. Get tickets now at DealerConnect2025.com. That's DealerConnect2025.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
I know you love sports, so why not take that passion and make a difference in your community as a volunteer coach with the YMCA? Whether it's soccer, basketball, volleyball, or flag football, the Y is always looking for positive role models to help kids grow in both skills and character. Even if you've got no coaching experience, that's fine. We'll provide the training. Step up, give back, and be the coach that makes a difference. To volunteer, visit your local Y or fcymca.org.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
I love my propane company. They always answer when I call and give me great prices and fast service. Said no one ever.
Until now. Need propane for your home or business? Seabreeze Propane is bringing the propane as North Florida's new local propane provider. Visit SeabreezeLP.com. Seabreeze Propane. We make propane cool, brother. Oh, yeah.
Grab your cowboy hat for the Beach Barbecue Bash presented by Sunshine State Plumbing and Reliable Ducks. Thursday, October 30th. Live music, sizzling barbecue, and Southern Charm supporting Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. Get tickets at bgcnf.org.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, it only costs for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by November 6th.
Game days aren't the only win happening in the 904. Best of Bold City named 904 Gutters with a Z, the #1 seamless gutter company in Duval. Like the team's O-line protects their QB. Call the winning team at 904 Gutters with a Z to protect your home from the rain.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Into the 9 o'clock hour we go. Hacker After Dark with you till 10 o'clock as we are every night right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Thank you to former Florida Gator All-American tight end Ben Troop for joining me to talk about the Billy Napier firing and what is next for the University of Florida. Denmark, you and I will have the Gator Bites podcast tomorrow morning.
Oh, we are doing that.
Yeah, we are. I mean, I figure Billy Napier gets fired. You know, it's kind of an important week. So we'll be doing that 8 o'clock, 8:15 in the morning. And the rumors are already running rampant, right? There are some people that are saying, oh, it's a done deal. Lane Kiffin to Florida is a done deal. Other people are saying, nope, Lane Kiffin's not coming. Marcus Freeman, according to some message boards, has already said no. They've vetted Rhett Lashley at SMU. They've already talked to the agent of Brent Key. The rumors are like wildfire, man, and who knows what is true and what is not true, but I will continue to say this. You give me Lane Kiffin and Eli Drinkowitz, I give you the field, and I'm going to be very confident that my two guys, either Kiffin or Drinkowitz, will be the next head coach at the University of Florida. Denmark, agree or disagree?
No, I agree with you. And, you know, there is
if you want to find anything on the internet, and I'm not just saying like, just fans, I'm talking about people in the media regarding Kiffin staying at Ole Miss or Kiffin leaving to go to Florida. You can find anything that you want on either side about him staying or leaving. And you can find a lot of people saying both things. And then the same thing with Eli Drinkwitz. If Lane Kiffin doesn't, come through for Florida. And if it's not those two, I don't know what to tell you, because it seems like Florida is going to make a decision that they're going to get a coach from a big-time program, and they're not going to go look at the G5 again.
I think it's a 50-50 proposition with Kiffin. That's why, to me, it's almost more likely that Eli Drinkwitz is going to be the next head coach, because I think if Kiffin says no, Drinkwitz would sprint to Florida. Would do, put on his best Air Jordans and do his best 40-yard dash to Gainesville. Now, hopefully he brings his coordinator and some of his staff with him. Again, it would be an interesting thought for Eli Drinkwitz to come. But what's interesting is, you look at what Drinkwitz has done at Missouri, and you compare that to what Kiffin has done at Ole Miss. Kiffin's got the name value, right, because he's the son of Monty Kiffin. He obviously has the past from his time at Tennessee and Southern Cal and as Saban's OC at Alabama. He's got the aura around him. He's quirky, but Eli Drinkwitz certainly fits that criteria. Kiffin is the more popular guy name-wise, but if you look at their bodies of work in the Southeastern Conference, I'm not sure if Drinkwitz hasn't been every bit as good at Missouri as Kiffin has been at Ole Miss.
The thing with Lane Kiffin is, he's one of the best play callers in all of college football. And when you have that to your name, and in a game now where everything favors the offense, and offensive coaches are valued more than defensive guys, that just means a heck of a lot more than really anything else.
That's fair. I mean, Drinkwitz is an offensive guy too, because Drinkwitz did a good job in a very short period of time at App State. I'm trying to find. Let me pull up Drinkwitz's time at Missouri, because it's been pretty good. All right, so here's Drinkwitz at Missouri. All right. First year he went there, he went 5-5 in the COVID year. Then 6-7, 6-7. Then he's gone 11-2, won the Cotton Bowl, 10-3, won the Music City Bowl, and now he's got them 6-1 and controlling their own destiny for a college football playoff.
Yeah, they'll be 10-2 again this year. If you look at that schedule, it's not. They don't play a lot of the Blue Bloods.
And in Drinkwitz's one short year at App State, he was only at App State 1 year. They went 12-1 and went to the New Orleans Bowl. So we'll see. Again, you give me Kiffin, you give me Drinkwitz, I give you the field, and I do think I have the next head coach. Quickly with Eli Drinkwitz, the knock on him that I've heard from some around the University of Florida, not so much inside the program, but fan base, alumni, etc., is he's an interesting guy, right? He is quirky. He is, dare I say, a little odd. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. I think some coaches are just odd cats. Drinkwitz kind of fits in that criteria. Would a personality like Drinkwitz fit in Gainesville? You're an alumnus of that school.
I mean, if you're winning.
If you're winning. Well, yeah, winning cures all.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, I feel like with Eli Drinkwitz, there's a lot of like Dan Mullen with him. Like, just personality-wise, not talking about anything on the field.
Well, he went right at it with Mullen. Remember, they almost got into it on the field, and then when Mullen did the Darth Vader thing the very next year when Drinkwitz beat him, Drinkwitz did the Star Wars reference in the postgame. Drinkwitz will do that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I just see a lot of similarities in their personality and how they talk with the media between the two of them. I mean, it can work, but, I mean, you asked me if it works. It only works if you're winning. If you're 7-5 and 6-6 and you pop up a 9-3 and you do that, it doesn't work.
Well, like we said on Monday, right? Outside of Steve Spurrier, everybody that has coached the University of Florida, particularly in the 24-hour news cycle and where we are in social media, so go back for the last 25 years, the Gator fan base has turned on every coach except Spurrier. Everybody was thrilled when these coaches got hired, and by year 3 or 4 or 5, I guess, the fan base was done with them. So odds are, whoever it is, Lane Kiffin, Eli Drinkwitz, or whomever, if history is a telling factor, at some point the Gator fan base will be done with this head coach as well, because it's happened every time since Steve Spurrier left that program in the early 2000s. The coach Gerald Ingram back into the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll take a look back at the Jaguars' 4-3 start. We'll also look around the rest of the National Football League. Also, Marty Lee, the athletic director at First Coast High School, previewing a huge night of high school football tomorrow night. District championships will be decided all over the place. We got a loaded 9 o'clock hour. We're glad you're with us. It's a Thursday night here in Jacksonville, Florida. As we roll on, it's Hacker After Dark.
Came out here, city slickers. You're going to go home, cowboy.
It's not a cattle drive. It's the Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville drive of the game.
You're done real good, cowboys.
On 1010XL.
Does anybody know how to get where we're going?
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional, and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID 402296, Fine Salem, NMLS ID 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID 249086.
Jax is more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We're a community that takes care of each other. I'm former Jaguar Tom McManus. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. We haul construction debris or property cleanouts for managers, owners, and realtors. We do it all. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
If you miss an interview, it'll be waiting for you on demand.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Search where you find podcasts.
And at 1010XL.com.
Trained by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
It's an evening of connection, laughter, and friendly competition, celebrating the creativity and resilience of our community with costumes, bowling, and prizes. To find out more about the Community Bowling Costume Party October 24th, contact Rebel Recovery.
If you'd like to help dogs find new homes, you can enjoy food, drinks, music, and of course, dogs at the Fall Fermi Festival, November 8th. Find out more at kprok9.com.
Find out how you can be part of the cure for blood cancer at the Light the Night Walk at ViStar Ballpark, November 22nd. Take the first step at lightthenight.org.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
October means Brakes for Breast at Expert Automotive, who's teamed up with TechNet so you can get or give $40 and help us put the brakes on breast cancer. The entire month of October, schedule a brake job at Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff, and Expert will match TechNet's $40 give or get, giving $80 back to you or Brakes for Breast to put the brakes on breast cancer. Book online at expertautojax.com. Visit us in St. John's Bluff or call 374-3373. Help Expert Automotive put the brakes on breast cancer.
Julington Creek Pest Control has been serving our community since 1984. Our turf management program is an all-out blitz, granular fertilization, weed and insect control, keeping your lawn championship green all year. Quarterly pest control stops bugs before they ever cross your goal line. Family owned, locally operated, expert technicians, top quality products, no gimmicks, just winning results. Julington Creek Pest Control, our family serving yours since 1984.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars 4-3 heading into the bye week after a 35-7, dismantling at the hands of the Los Angeles Rams. There were a lot of problems on Sunday at Wembley Stadium, and certainly a lot of questions coming out of that game that, we don't really have a lot of answers to, at least right now. Let's talk about the Rams' defeat, I guess I'll call it, to put it mildly, and talk about where the Jaguars are 7 games in heading into this much-needed bye week. The coach, Gerald Ingram, 18 years as a running back coach in the National Football League. You hear him every week with us on the Fifth Quarter, and the coach is always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how we doing, bud?
Oh, we're doing pretty good, guy. It's a good day and a bad day.
Oh, there's no doubt. It was a bad performance at Wembley Stadium. 13 penalties, 7 sacks, missed kicks, a comedy of errors, a 35-7 defeat. Coach, how do you summarize what happened over there in London to the Jaguars?
Well, the sad part is that we've exposed ourselves to being a bad football team right now. There was so many inconsistency in this game. And I don't even want to call it from the standpoint of the intensity. It's not the intensity. It's just the continuing bad football penalties and people making bad decisions, within those penalties and how to play the game as well. And I think it's one of these, situations that you have to look at everybody because it's not enough. It's not good enough play right now. We started off better and we're getting worse. And it's progressed cancerous throughout the team right now. It really has. The quarterback is, every week we say his inaccuracy is an issue, and it's continuing issue. People are wide open, and the ball is not even close at times. And when he pats his feet, when he sets his feet and throws, he makes some pretty good throws out there. But when he pats his feet with a little bit of indecision, he's late. He's late with those throws. He's a step behind. I mean, you're playing against an elite quarterback and an elite head coach, play caller, in the Rams, that they get the ball off. Now, there were situations, our defenses, I have to say they tried to scheme up for what they had because – we're short a pass rusher. We need a pass rusher every way possible. So we're going to have to find that and solve that issue. But, the quarterback is getting the ball off quick. He sees the field, and he knows where his underneath people are. And the design of their plays is to get the ball off quick. And there's some max-based protections that they're using. I hope they look at this game a few times from the standpoint of what the Rams are calling and how they're protecting at times and how quickly the ball gets out of his hands, that there's something to their confidence and belief of what they're doing. But the quarterback is in position to get the ball to him without getting sacked a lot of times. Some of our sacks are not just sacks. They're timing throws. We can get the ball off quicker. And then there's the inconsistencies of certain people that are not good enough getting their job done. And there's going to be some questions at the end of the year or midway through on, who's going to be our future bell cow at left tackle, and there were times the right tackle was playing real well and he's sliding on the ground and protections, those kind of things, and receiver. And you might have to move on from BT. I'm just saying, It's not good enough. Hadn't been good enough this camp. He doesn't run routes fast enough. He doesn't separate when he needs to separate. And these drops, you just can't have that. All of them. And Patrick Washington, if if this game gets too big for you as a receiver, you're just going to be a backup receiver in this league. When you get an opportunity, you have to make good on all of them. That's what you have to do. That's being a starter in the NFL, not a sometime guy. It's an every time guy.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's kind of contributing to this ball or whatever. We got a safety who's exposed himself that this team saw the same route and said in man coverage he can't cover. And they got to take the secondary. You got to tighten. If we blitz and we try to get people there, you got to tighten up your coverage. So there's so much separation. It's an easy throw. So you got to. There's too many things that holes in the dike right now that the off week couldn't come at a better time. You imagine we didn't have an off week, what next week would look like? So it couldn't come at a better time because everybody has to be reevaluated. The coaching staff has to be reevaluated. The players have to be reevaluated. And we're going to rank these players. And I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, the number one receiver on this team is Hunter. He is. If you got to have one guy to feed the ball to win the game, it's that kid. I don't care if you didn't think he was ready or not. All I know is as a coach, I was evaluated on getting a guy ready for Sunday as a coach. All right? So take the kid's gloves off, coach the son of a gun, and find a way that maybe he inspires everybody else. So they got some work to do.
The coach Gerald Ingram with us here on Hacker After Dark. No, I completely agree. Travis Hunter was certainly the silver lining on Sunday. He was by far and away the best player in a Jaguar uniform over there at Wembley Stadium. Look, the drops are awful. I don't think the offense has been very good at all. The defense was terrible in the first half. They were okay in the second half. The offense just did nothing to help them. But the penalties, Coach, 13 penalties for over 100 yards. You could tell the frustration that Liam Cohen had in the post-game press conference. I mean, what do you do about that? At a certain point, enough's enough, right? I mean, if guys keep doing the same thing every week, that is who you are at that point, correct?
Well, Liam's got to address the leadership of this team. He can't play for them, okay? Yes, we're going to put this on us as coaches, but the leadership on this team has got to come through. Lawrence, you have got, you know what? We paid you not to just be a quarterback. We paid you to be a leader on this team to get it fixed. So there are certain people, whoever the captains are, okay, whoever the leaders are, whoever our best players who aren't playing up to their ability have got to get this fixed because Liam is not out there. But offense, defense, and special teams, and we've got a kicker who's also, has to get his mind right. Okay, so we got a week to get it right, and they're going to have to address this issue. They got to man up to get the football because you can't embarrass yourself on those kind of situations.
Couple of more for the coach, Gerald Ingram. All right, the bye week, as you mentioned. I think when everybody takes a deep breath, Coach, 4-3 is not where I thought they would be 7 games in. If you would have told me 4-3 2 months ago, I would have gladly taken that. But as we've talked about this week, there are different types of 4-3. There's optimistic, positive, things are going well 4-3, and there's the Titanic's about to sink 4-3. And I think, unfortunately, the Jaguars might be the latter, at least in the eyes of the fan base. You were a coach in the league for 18 years, man. I mean, what do you do during this bye week if you're Liam Cohen and this staff to try to right the ship heading into Las Vegas a week from Sunday?
Well, like I said, I just said before, you have to address the leadership of this team on getting the football right. We have to every week come out, no matter who we play against, what they say about us, and how good we think we are. You have to perform. And the standard for performance is not good. Now, what happens in the NFL, it means not for long. And when you're a first-year team, and you first get there, some of the players think they're set in stone, that they're going to be there when the season starts. That's not the case when you're a first-year team. Okay, we're not trying to wait till the next year. You have to start early on, who we are, what identity is, what's acceptable, and this week you have to, it's okay to sit there and tell them some of you guys will be here next year and some may not. That's the NFL. I'm sorry, nothing personal, but this team has got to grow, and they're going to grow with me as a head coach, or I'm going to get fired and be gone just like you. So you're going to have to address certain people and the team that if we don't get it done, I'll have, people say it a lot of different ways, but there will be a lot of new people here next year. But you can't continue to do the same thing and not do and not be accountable for it. And, that's half of that is insanity, and you're not going to be insane doing it.
Well, and the interesting thing as we wrap up, Coach, is there's not really any loyalty for this coaching staff to any of the players. I mean, like you said, it's a first-year staff. You talk about Cam Little. I mean, I'm not cutting Cam Little, but I'm darn sure bringing in a kicker on the practice squad this week. I'm putting another kicker in that locker room to tell Cam Little, you better start making your kicks.
That's it.
The secondary, Dewey Wingard. I mean, guys of that sort. Antonio Johnson. They haven't really been getting the job done. There needs to be accountability all over the place here, and I get the sense that Liam Cohen is the kind of guy that if you're not cutting the muster, he's going to do something about it pretty quick.
Yeah, and it showed by letting a secondary player go. Campbell, you have, when it says do whatever it takes, it's not just talk when you do it. You're going to have to do it. And you're going to have to let some people go, and you're going to have to let them know that they might go, because there's got to be a sense of urgency to accountability of your job. And no one can ever feel settled in this, but it's gotten so bad the football looks bad. How does a kid not know not to put your hand on a back? You got a punt return for a touchdown. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. Some of the pass interference penalties. There's so many dumb things that are happening out there. The quarterback was wide open. How do you not see Travis coming underneath? He catches the ball, he might still be running.
Yeah.
There's too many of those things. Every week we're saying the same thing. But everybody I don't see detailed football out there at times. Now, there's sometimes it really looks good, but it's not enough. And you'll look at the other team and you say, well, they don't look perfect either. But the guy at the top throwing the ball is getting it where he needed to when it happens. And it's not perfect. But when you have open people, it gets there with accuracy. It gets there with timing. You're not, these excuses of being around here, 4 years and this happened and that happened. And then you go to Cleveland and Cincinnati Bengals, and a guy goes from one team and learns a system in 1 week and beats the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't care it's still a curl route. It's still a go route. It's still a post route. It's still an in route. You don't tell me, I don't care what team you go to, and from college to NFL, you either get it done or you can't. It's still doing your job. You've been throwing those routes for a long time. Get it done.
The coach, Gerald Ingram. You get him every week here on Hacker After Dark, and you also get him Sundays, 2 hours after every Jaguar football game. Coach, we obviously have an off week this week. Enjoy a weekend at the house, and we'll talk next week, my friend. Thank you as always.
Thank you, buddy. We're all going to take a deep breath.
Your play-by-play home of Bulls Bulldogs football is 1010XL.
The 7-1 Bulldogs are fired up for senior night against the Wolfpack. Bulls Wolfson, Friday at 7 on 1010 AM.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab Crab House.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Congrats to former Georgia defensive lineman Freddie Gilbert and running back Sony Michel's induction into the Georgia-Florida Hall of Fame, Friday, October 31st, presented by Miller Electric. To attend the luncheon ceremony, go to flgajax.com/Hall of Fame.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my successful back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World.
Simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
Hey, Jacksonville, Rick Ballou here. Small business owners need trucks and vans to keep your business moving? Jacksonville Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram Westside has Ram 1500s to heavy-duty 2500s, ProMasters, and custom uplifts ready to work. Visit them on Commonwealth Avenue or go online to jaxwest.com. Jacksonville Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram Westside, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local partner for work-ready vehicles.
After our son's shoulder issues were worsening, we took him to see Dr. Snyder at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, who recommended PRP treatment. We trusted Dr. Snyder's evaluation and looked forward to seeing him pitch again.
My son's hip and shoulder problems were diagnosed swiftly by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Recommending them on this radio ad is easy, and honestly, it's great knowing Southeast Orthopedic Specialists was there for us. We highly recommend them.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
How do you know that your roof is ready for the next big storm? You don't. That's why you need to call me. I'm Ronnie, the owner of Brandon Roofing. We'll assess your roof and fix those issues before they become storm disasters. Visit BrandonRoofing.com today to schedule your free roofing quote.
License number CCC 1328006.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Week 10 of the high school football regular season, and you might as well call this week District Championship Week. There are a number of district championship games all over Northeast Florida as playoff positioning is in full force. Let's talk to a man that knows all about that. He spent decades as a head coach here in the high school ranks in Northeast Florida. He is still the athletic director at First Coast High School. That's my buddy Marty Lee, who's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how we doing?
Man, we're doing good. It is hard to believe it's week 10 in Hacker. I mean, this season's gone by fast, and like you said, this week is a big week for all high school teams.
It flies by, no question about it. And, Coach, before we dive into these games individually, you know, you spend all off season beginning, even in the winter, and then spring conditioning, obviously summer drills, fall camp, knowing you want an opportunity like this for a district championship, and there's, I think, 4 or 5 district title games in the area on Friday night. This is what it's all about, right? This is what you do all those sprints for in the off season.
That's what it's all about, buddy. A lot of times you end every practice with district champs, FHSA playoffs. You work all year long to get to this point, and a lot of people don't realize all the hard work you put in to get to this point. And, it's going to be an exciting moment for a lot of teams and some heartbreak for other teams.
Clearly on paper, Coach, the game of the night are 2 teams you're very familiar with. They're in your district. That's Oakleaf and Mandarin. That is a district championship game. The winner will certainly be in better positioning for the playoffs than the loser. Both teams will certainly get into the postseason, but there is something to be said for winning that district title.
Boy, I tell you, it has been a very competitive district for the last couple of years. And like you said, both of these 2 teams are going to make the state playoffs, but what at stake is your positioning. So you're looking to get that seed. It looks like right now Buchholz is going to be the number 1 seed unless they get upset this week themselves. So if you get that district championship, that means you might not have to play them until maybe the regional finals. I know last year Mandarin won the district. Oakleaf had to go to Nice, beat Nice, but then their next opponent was Buchholz. So there's a lot on the line. 2 very well-coached teams, athletes all over the field. Good win for Oakleaf last week to come back and win that ball game, and then to hold off Ed White. And then Mandarin needed that week to rest. It was a much-needed rest for them. I know Toby took a break, and so it ought to be an exciting football game there at I think it's at Mandarin High School this year.
I believe it is over there off of Greenland Road. And, real quick, Another thought on that game. Mandarin, in the court of public opinion, probably thought of in a little higher regard than Oakleaf, whether that's fair or not. Boy, what a statement opportunity for Oakleaf on Friday night.
There is no doubt about it. There's a lot of pressure. A lot of people think that Mandarin should win this football game. But if Oakleaf keeps playing the way they're playing, now that secondary has got to get a lot better. You're about to see one of the best receivers in the nation. And last week, Ed White exposed him a little bit. I guarantee you Foy's working on that this week. If Mandarin were to lose, that's a major upset. And there will be a lot of people lose this ball game. So this is big for both programs. There's no doubt about it.
The coach, Marty Lee, with us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, Raines has been destroying people. Yulee suffered their first setback last week. They're clearly a surprise in the area. Like Oakleaf and Mandarin, both of these teams will get into the playoffs. Raines an overwhelming favorite in this game. Again, I do commend Yulee for what they've been able to do and likely making the postseason. But it is a district championship game there at the Graveyard between Yulee and Raines.
Yes, and Kyle's done a really good job of getting Yulee back to where it was, when Bobby Ramsey was over there. But this is a tough task for him. It's going to be very difficult for him to beat Raines, especially going into the Graveyard. Those guys take a lot of pride in that Graveyard, and Maz has got those guys really playing well. That was a very good football team that he dismantled last week in Creekside. You hope they're not peaking too soon. This is going to be a really good test for him this week. I can't see Yulee winning this ball game, but the great thing is they are going to make the playoffs in the region. And so this will be a good test for them because they probably will see Raines probably in the second round of the playoffs.
Raines gets grief for their schedule, and we've had Donovan Maslin on a bunch. I mean, look, they scheduled Lake Mary. They scheduled Madison County. They've scheduled, up in competition, Creekside as well, and I commend them for that. And there's a lot of teams, Coach, that quite frankly, when Raines calls, just simply aren't going to answer, right, or aren't going to call back. It's tough for Raines to find 10 ball games.
Well, it is very difficult for them to find that schedule, because a lot of the guys are trying to build their programs, and then there's other programs that honestly just don't feel like they can compete with them. Their speed and their size is very difficult. But, you got to give Maz a lot of credit. He's done everything he could to make this schedule better because he knows, Hacker, when he leaves this region, which it'll be a major, major upset if he doesn't win the region. And he's got a big task on his hand when he goes to South Florida. And I say this a lot of times, no disrespect to North Florida. It's a different brand of football in South Florida. Those kids there, take this serious just like we do, but it's just it's something in the water down there, Hacker, down in Dade County. And so it's going to, hopefully he'll do the best he can when he gets to that point. But it'll be a good game this Friday against Yulee. And then next week he plays Atlantic Coast, and then he'll get ready for the playoffs.
Final moments with the coach, Marty Lee. Riverside has not had the year they wanted, not even close. They've played a brutal schedule, but all that will be forgotten if they can pull off the upset over Ed White there in the backyard, because these three-team districts are what they are, Coach, and Riverside.
They are what they are.
Right. Despite this record, Riverside can win the district with a win over Ed White.
You are absolutely correct, Hacker. It's like we talked about a couple weeks ago. Neither one of us are in favor of those three-team districts, but that's not their fault. It's all done by population. And so here's a great example. Riverside wins this ball game. They're 3-7, and they're district champs. Okay? Now, what's crazy is they could win this ball game and still have to go to Ed White to play because of the RPI ranking. I was very impressed with LJ, the way his team handled that loss Friday night. In the past, Ed White would have been laying all over the field, throwing helmets, but they didn't do that. They win that ball game. They had a chance. They showed a lot of class and character. Now, the question is, can they bounce back against a rival? This is a big-time rival. A lot of people don't realize how long they have been playing, and Riverside knows that if they can get it and put it all together in one night, and there's been some games that they have been very close in this year, they could be district champs. That's going to be a good ball game in the backyard.
Coach, let's wrap up going rapid fire. Not necessarily district championship games, but very important games nonetheless. Tocoi Creek and Nice in St. Johns County. Big game for both teams.
Big game for both teams. Tocoi has to win this ball game if they want to have a chance to make the playoffs.
Middleburg, Fleming Island. Boy, what a win for Middleburg last week over Beachside. They're going to come in with a ton of confidence. Fleming Island, we know Tom McPherson's done a great job out there in year number one. Again, a big ball game for playoff positioning for both schools.
Big ball game. Almost in a situation, same with Fleming Island. Need to win this ball game if they want to have a chance to make the playoffs.
Santa Fe and Bradford County are in basically a district championship game as well. Now, I think if Bradford wins, they're the outright champion. If Santa Fe wins, three teams are going to share it, and it'll have to go to points. But if Bradford, again, they control their own destiny if they beat Santa Fe.
That's true, and Jamie does such a good job there. So, Santa Fe is one of those great stories, but I got to give the edge to Bradford. I think they're just a little bit too strong for them.
Final question, and I say this as a Wolfson alum. It's preposterous they're in a district with bowls. And we're going to have this game on 10:10 a.m. We're going to air it Friday night. And, my alma mater, I'll be pulling for them certainly. But this is a joke, right?
Yes. I mean, give Guy credit. Wolfson has done a great job this year, but they're in a different league. It's not fair for them or Jackson. And you think about it, Andrew Jackson's got a chance to make the playoffs. Bowles is in a different category, and they have so many other resources and for them to be such a better football program than these other two teams. I'm telling you, if I was the AD principal at Wolfson High School, I'd join the independent league. I think they would stand a better chance doing that because year in, year out, Hacker, they're not going to beat Bowles for that district championship.
And, Coach, final thought, leave us with this. Justin Barney and I have talked a lot about that this year. You look at West Nassau, Fernandina Beach, Stanton, Paxson. Moving to the Sunshine League has done wonders for those programs, and you got to wonder whether it's Wolfson, Westside, Inglewood. I get that maybe a couple of years ago there was a connotation about doing that. I almost think that's gone now. I think a lot more of these teams should do what Fernandina and West Nassau did.
You are absolutely correct. You think about, I'm going to just use West Nassau. West Nassau was just getting beat down. Now, all of a sudden, they have had back-to-back seasons where they may go 9-1. The community is excited. They've got that thrill of Friday night football back, and they get to play for a championship. Now, they may get back in the district now that they have rebuilt their program. You are correct. We have some schools in the Gateway Conference. They need to go independent. They need to do the exact same thing. Poor Inglewood. I know that they struggled this year. They had to cancel their JV football season. They need to go independent, rebuild their program, and then look at it 2 years from now. So I'm absolutely correct, because it used to be everybody looked down on joining the Sunshine League. Now it's an opportunity. I was talking to Steve Brown. There's 10 teams in the North and 10 in the South. 8 make the playoffs. They even give the 9th and the 10th team the opportunity to play another game. You'll never get that opportunity if you stay in the FHSA with the district, okay, unless you want to go to the FIT, and that's a whole new different animal.
The coach, Marty Lee, longtime head football coach here in Northeast Florida. He's still the athletic director out there at First Coast High School. Coach, I know you're busy. Thank you as always. We'll do it again next week, pal.
I really do appreciate it, Hacker. I want to give a shout-out. Last night, Rodney Tisdale Jr., quarterback at First Coast High School, had his first start, redshirt freshman at Western Kentucky, went on the road to Live Tech. They won the game in overtime. The coach went for 2, put the ball in the hands of Rodney. I'm so proud of him. It's an example of never give up. Never give up. And the sky's the limit. And I'm very proud of Rodney Tisdale Jr.
You're exactly right. I did see that. Western Kentucky's all of a sudden 6-2 on the year.
Yeah.
They're having a great year, and I did see that young man do that. Absolutely, Coach. Very, very awesome, and I'm sure that made you feel great. We'll talk soon,
Yes.
bud.
I'll talk to you, and I will appreciate it. Look forward to hearing you on Friday night.
And thank you to Marty Lee, the athletic director over at First Coast High School, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark to preview what will be a really fun night of high school football tomorrow night. District championship games all over the place. Ed White Riverside for a district title, Yulee and Rains for a district title, and certainly the biggest one of the night, Mandarin and Oakley for a district championship as well. And we'll be here to recap all of it, have Victoria's head coaches on during the Friday Night Lights postgame tomorrow evening. So we certainly thank Marty Lee, the athletic director of First Coast High School, for joining us here this evening. So certainly spent some time on that, spent some time on the Florida Gators, and what a week it has been, right? We'll be getting ready for the world's largest outdoor cocktail party 1 week from now. But obviously the firing of Billy Napier, the coaching search that one would assume has already begun with conversations going on. And we'll see what ultimately happens down there with the University of Florida. And even during the bye week, we will never get too far away from the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are off until, I believe, Monday. And then they will return and begin preparations for the second half of the year, which will start a week from Sunday out in Las Vegas, taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very busy Thursday night edition here of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Marty Lee, the athletic director at First Coast High School. Thank you to the coach, Gerald Ingram, 18 years as a running back coach in the National Football League. He's got a couple of Super Bowl rings on his fingers from his time with the New York Football Giants. Of course, you get the coach every week with us on the fifth quarter, and we always get him here on Hacker After Dark to look back on the Jaguars' 4-3 start to the year. Former Florida All-American tight end Ben Troop stopped by the program to give his thoughts on the firing of Billy Napier and what is next for the University of Florida in this coaching search for his alma mater. And then back in hour number one, my buddy Cecil Shorts, former wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You get him every week here on Hacker After Dark as we talked pretty in-depth with a former NFL wide receiver about the struggles of Brian Thomas Jr. Is Travis Hunter the clear wide receiver one moving forward? Jaguar fans, if you missed that conversation with former Jaguar wide receiver Cecil Shorts, I think you will find it very, very interesting, some of the things